This is the videotape deposition of Elliot Mintz in the matter of Damiano versus Sony Music and Bob Dylan.
Have you ever lied to Mr. Damiano?
Yes.
Someday, maybe you'll be able to tell the greatest story. Say the greatest line. Give the greatest performance. Find the greatest find.
Bob Dylan started out singing other people's songs, but as he says, there came a point where I had to write what I wanted to say because what I wanted to say, nobody else was writing. So
You state at the top of the page, or at least it appears to that you state, my job here is to pass along information to Bob. Do you recall saying that, sir? Looking
Yes.
at the top. Okay. And Bob, of course, is Bob Dylan.
Yes.
And then you say, which I think I have. Do you see that, sir?
Yes.
Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay. When you said that to Mr. Damiano, which I think I have, were you lying to him?
I was.
Do you recall ever giving Mr. Damiano your fax number?
Yes.
And when you need to reach Mr. Dylan, how do you reach him?
I phone him.
At his home?
If he's in Los Angeles, yes. If he's on the road, I try and locate him that way.
Okay. And it says by Catherine Baker, Associated Press writer, Beverly Hills, California. Are you that Catherine Baker?
Yes.
There are thousands of facts that support the fact that Bob Dylan is a plagiarist. It would be impossible to cite all the details in a 2-hour movie. One fact we do want to cite is the most important fact, and that is that it has been reported by Reuters that at the age of 16, Bob Dylan was already a plagiarist and knew the value of plagiarizing songs. Quoting Reuters, a poem written by a teenage Bob Dylan and up for auction at Christie's is actually a song written by the late Canadian country singer Hank Snow. Christie's announced on Tuesday the sale of the handwritten poem, believed to have been written in 1957 when Dylan was 16 and away at Jewish camp. The words, with a few minor variations, match those of a song previously recorded by Snow, who died in 1999 at the age of 85. Christie's said in a statement, "Additional information has come to our attention about the handwritten poem submitted by Bob Dylan to his camp newspaper, written when he was 16, entitled Little Buddy. The words are in fact a revised version of lyrics of a Hank Snow song."
Period, unquote. Did Mr. Dylan say those words?
Yes.
You then continue without quotes. The other reason for the others is inevitable, colon. He didn't, that's D-I-D-N apostrophe T, as in did not. He didn't have enough material of his own for an album, period, period. Did Mr. Dylan say those words?
I went back in the transcript and I was paraphrasing him, and that's not entirely accurate. He said he didn't have enough songs that he wanted to put on an album.
And as you know, you're here today concerning an interview that you conducted with Mr. Dylan. You understand that? And when was that interview conducted, ma'am?
August 5th, 1988.
Okay. And in preparation for today's appearance here, did you review any notes?
Yes, I reviewed the transcript of the tape.
Okay. And does a tape recording exist?
Yes.
Period, unquote. Did Mr. Dylan say those words?
Yes.
You then continue without quotes. The other reason for the others is inevitable, colon. He didn't, that's D-I-D-N apostrophe T, as in did not. He didn't have enough material of his own for an album, period, period. Did Mr. Dylan say those words?
I went back in the transcript and I was paraphrasing him, and that's not entirely accurate. He said he didn't have enough songs that he wanted to put on an album. Of course, the newspapers put their own headline on the story.
Sure.
I'm not sure what the headline we put on it was.
And it says by Catherine Baker, Associated Press writer, Beverly Hills, California. Are you that Catherine Baker?
Yes.
And we just found out documents were destroyed. So please, get off your high horse. Get off your high horse, please.
Before the lawsuit was filed, thank you. Blank pieces of paper.
Not
Before the lawsuit
blank
was filed.
pieces of paper. Documents that he's contending were illegible. And
What are you saying right
were
now?
not blank.
Let's go back to the Jones Beach concert, if we may, to the time when you offered the tickets to Mr. Damiano before the concert actually took place. Okay? During that point in time when you offered the tickets to him and before he actually went to the concert, did you ever say to him or suggest to him that maybe he should bring some of his songs with him?
No, I did not.
Any, right, do you
deny saying that, or is it you just don't recall one way or the other?
I deny suggesting to Jim that he bring songs along with him. I did, however, concur with him when he asked me, do you think I should bring my songs with me? I said, sure, why not? What could it hurt?
The criticism that you've received for more or less leaving folk music for folk rock hasn't seemed to bother you very much. Do you think you'll stick with folk rock, or are you going on into more writing?
I don't play folk rock.
What would you call your music?
I would call it, I like to think of it more in terms of vision music. It's mathematical music.
Would you say that the words were more important than the music?
The words are just as important as the music. There'd be no music without the words.
Which do you do first, ordinarily?
The words.
Do you think there will ever be a time when you will paint or sculpt?
Oh, yes. Oh, sure.
Do you think there'll ever be a time when you'll be hung as a thief? Oh.